After a long season in Formula E, the championship was decided at the final round in the second race of the London ePrix weekend. We had Nick Cassidy, Pascal Wehrlein and Mitch Evans all vying for that championship position, and it was a tight battle coming into this one as well. So realistically, any of them could have done it. So let's go into what happened. Let's go into it and let's see who became world champion this weekend in London. We have a 5 things we learned review from the London ePrix race 2. So Cassidy, Evans and Wehrlein were all up front in this one. It's what we wanted to see, to be honest with you. It was a bit disappointing in a sense that Cassidy had qualified so far down for the first race that he was not in contention for it. That was not a problem in this one though. We had all the top championship contenders in the top 4, and it became an outright top 3 after they got past Max Gunter. So all of them were line of the stern. At that moment, Mitch Evans was going to be champion because he was leading, with Pascal Wehrlein behind and Nick Cassidy in third. It was very cagey to say the least. I think it was like a 40-lap race, something like that, but in the end it took about 25 laps or so for anything too significant to happen. Sorry, about 20 laps or so for anything too significant to happen. And that the first lunge was taken by Wehrlein because Wehrlein had to get past Evans to win the championship. He had to finish ahead of Evans because of where the championship standings were. He took a lunge into turn 1. Contact was made, but Evans kept place. It was very, very tight, very nervy. Cassidy was waiting in the wings to pounce. But the third thing that we learned is that Cassidy's championship chances were over after just 28 laps. He made contact with Roland and Roland gave him a puncture. So Cassidy went into the pits. There was all kinds of chaos ensuing behind. I think Gunter lost his front wing and all that somehow as well. But yeah, Cassidy's championship chances were over. He had a puncture, came into the pits, race over pretty much at that point. The fourth thing we learned though is that Roland, that man I just mentioned who gave Cassidy a puncture, actually managed to win the race. He actually managed to win the race, and it's redemption for him in a sense because he's won his home race, you know, and he was in the championship battle. He was in the championship challenge up until Portland, and he missed out in Portland because he was ill. He couldn't make that race, he couldn't travel, so his championship chances were pretty much done at that point. But it was nice to see him get a victory at London ePrix, and it sets him up well to do well next season as well. The final thing that we learned though is that the championship was decided by, of all things, attack mode. Now for those that don't know attack mode, it's basically where you have to run wide and get a boost to go fast. Now interestingly, throughout this race, sorry, I should rewind a little bit. So through this race, you get 6 minutes of attack mode, which is pretty standard across the FE calendar, which means that you get 3 lots of it, 3 lots of 2 minutes, and that's your lot for the race. But it's not an option to use it. You have to use them throughout the race. If you don't, you get a penalty. Now, to take it, you have to go wide, and that normally means you're going to be passed, especially if you were either Wehrlein or Evans, because it was so tight. If Wehrlein went and did the attack mode at that point, he would have got overtaken by the likes of Roland, which is what happened when he took his attack mode. Evans too, if he took his attack mode, he would fall behind Wehrlein, which would be bad. But effectively, the championship was decided by attack mode because Evans took his attack mode and then Wehrlein took his, and Evans didn't take it enough. So he ended up with Evans taking it way too late, almost running out of power as well as a result. And yeah, Wehrlein ended up finishing second place, claimed his championship. Very happy for him, but I tell you what, FE fans are livid about this. I've seen quite some spicy comments, to say the least, online. People saying that the sport's a bit of a joke, that you can't expect us to take it seriously when you're having a Mario Kart style boost to actually decide the championship. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. The rules are there for everybody to read. So you can argue about it being a bit of a damp squib really, but they did the job. Wehrlein did his job properly. They win the championship. Cassidy got unlucky, and Evans, in a sense, threw it away. He was in the championship position before the attack modes were made, but he just wasn't on the ball. His team was not on the ball, unfortunately, and it cost him. But there we go, guys. London ePrix is a wrap. Season 10 of Formula E is also a wrap. And we'll be back, of course, to preview, to review, to do everything in between when the Formula E season restarts towards the back end of this year. In the meantime, we'll be covering WEC, we'll be covering WRC, and of course as well, we'll be covering all kinds of motoring advice for you guys over these summer holidays and beyond as well. But yeah, FE in 2024, what do you guys think about it? You had a good time this season? Let us know in the comments below. And of course, subscribe and follow the Motoring Chronicle for much more content just like this.